Hey everyone, what's up? I'm Allison. If you are new here, I make videos about having alopecia and mental health most of the time. But today, I'm going to focus a lot on the mental health side because I made a recent decision to start going to therapy. And as someone going into the mental health field, I think it's really important to be a part of taking away the stigma against going to therapy. And so there's a few things I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how and why I made my decision, how to know if therapy can be effective for you, and some misconceptions about therapy and what you can actually expect. So, how and why I made my decision. I'm going to give a little bit of context of what happened. I'm not going to get too personal about it, but I just want to be able to give examples of why therapy might be good for you, because my reasons for going to therapy are not problems that are like very uncommon. I feel like a lot of people are going to listen to this and relate to it and be like, yeah, I've been through a similar thing. So to start it off, what really kicked it off, what made my initial yes, I'm gonna go, is that I had an end to a relationship. I'm not gonna specify if it was a family relationship, a friendship, a romantic relationship, because they all hurt the same pretty much. So they're all really painful. So I had found myself in this situation multiple times with the same person, multiple years. And while I had no control over whether I was treated badly, that totally out of my control. I have no say over that, and that is not my fault at all. I do have control over putting myself in that position again. I do have control over giving multiple chances to people who treat me wrong. I do have control over changing that for the future so I don't find myself in the same position. So that was kind of the basis of why I decided to go, because I had put myself in this situation so many times over and over again, and I continued to hurt myself because of it. And like I said, I have no control over the pain that other people cause me, or the pain that I endured for being treated badly. I don't control how someone else acts towards me, but I do have control over changing that for the future. And so I think the biggest thing for me was I didn't ever want to find myself in a situation like that again, because I have these tendencies where I will give too much because I think that giving to someone will help them treat me better, which is backwards and not true. I also have this thing where I think that if you care about someone, it doesn't matter how they treat you, you're just supposed to stick with them through whatever, which is also wrong. If someone treats you badly, you shouldn't let it happen, and you should take the necessary steps to either cut it off or do whatever you need to do to not let them treat you like that. You shouldn't keep yourself in that situation, and I just have a tendency to keep myself in those situations, which is not healthy and can later down the line put me in some worse situations than I was in. So for me, it was just noticing an unhealthy pattern and wanting to change it. And I think everyone could admit that they have unhealthy patterns and that maybe they want to fix them, and therapy is great for that. So yeah, that was my initial reason for picking up the phone. There was an end to a relationship. I had found myself in this position so many times before, and I was like, moving forward, I do not need to be this destroyed and hurt. I need to change my own patterns and not find myself in this position. But then I also had kind of an underlying reason that I had thought for years maybe I want to go to a therapist and try to figure it out. But I've talked about how I've done gymnastics before. The culture of gymnastics is just not great, especially when I did it. And I feel like there was some trauma I wanted to explore from that. And that is also not uncommon for people. We all go through life. We all have life experiences. We've all been through things. And sometimes you don't realize the impact of these experiences, so it can be really good to talk to a professional and figure out how those experiences might have created unhealthy patterns or might have been the reason for certain things in your life. But yeah, those are my two reasons that I wanted to go to therapy. And I think it's important to point it out because it's not like I was severely anxious, depressed, or all these things. People think you have to be so problematic to need therapy. It's not the truth. You can just be a normal person going through normal life and just want to go to therapy just to better yourself. Now that I've talked about some misconceptions and how I made my decision, I want to talk about how to know if therapy can be effective for you. Because while therapy can be helpful for everyone, it is not always helpful for everyone, because you have to be ready to want to go through the healing process. You have to be ready to want to actually let out emotions that you've maybe suppressed for so long. So if you're still at a point in your life where you don't want to feel things, or you push things aside, or you're not really ready to explore like the hurt and pain that you're going through, then it's not really gonna work. It's like one of those things you have to want to help yourself, and if you're not ready to help yourself, then therapy really is not going to go anywhere for you. Now, if you maybe want to go to therapy because you realize you always suppress things and you want to try to not do that anymore, then maybe therapy can be helpful for you, because you're at least recognizing that you do it and you're saying that you want help for it. But if you're still in a place where you really can't admit that you want help, or you think that help is a sign of weakness, which it's not, getting help shows way more strength than it does weakness. But if you're still in that place, then it's probably not going to be helpful for you. So now what? You've made this grand decision that you're ready to go to therapy. You're ready to have the strength to call someone and say, I want to better myself and I want help doing it. What can you expect after that? So you're going to make the phone call, which sounds easy, but for me that was honestly the hardest part. It took me about a month from deciding I wanted to go to therapy to actually making the phone call. And just like if you were to call a doctor, they're going to ask you what your reason is for wanting to go to therapy. They're not going to like deny you, because like I said, the average person with average issues can go to therapy and it can be helpful. But that's the first step. After that, your first session is just going to be a lot of history background. It might be hard to be having to like almost relive experiences, because they're going to be trying to be getting a history and a sense of why you're there, what past issues might have been that could be affecting your present, stuff like that. And you can just expect to feel a lot of things. Be ready to go through the exhaustion of emotion. Like, I've never been so exhausted from just talking and feeling. I think I've only had 2 sessions so far, so I think I might do like an update later. But as of now, I just get exhausted afterwards. You can expect a lot of pain at first, because you're going to be talking about things that really hurt you, and you're going to be talking about things that maybe you haven't really talked about before, but it is the safest of safe spaces to do that, and you shouldn't shy away from being able to really talk and not be scared to like leave out certain pieces that you normally maybe would leave out if you're talking to a friend or your parent or something else. Like, it is truly a safe space to really release everything. And while it might be difficult to feel it all, in the end, if you really work and put yourself through the process, you will be 10 times better on the other side. Which is why I think I want to do an update later when I am kind of more down the road in my therapy journey, if people want to see that. But hopefully this helped anyone who maybe was scared to like take that jump into making that decision to go to therapy, or they thought it was only for certain types of people. It's not, it's for everyone. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can always follow me on Instagram, DM me, comment them below. I'm here to help as much as I can. And as always, be true, be you. I'll see you next time.